Welcome to another episode of Nick's Fix-It Life.
Hi everyone. So I am fixing my GE profile dishwasher. It's leaking at the bottom. So let me show you. So this is the dishwasher, and down there's a plate on the bottom of the dishwasher, and there's two screws, Phillips head screws here and here that you just undo, and then this plate comes off very easily. But as you can see, there's only a few inches, so it's pretty tight corners. So this is the water inlet valve, and you can see it is dripping down onto the ground even when it's not running. It seems to drip also when it's running. So we're going to replace the water inlet valve, and I bought the parts. I bought the water inlet valve on Amazon, and then a new water line hose because this one had a copper line, which I'd like to replace with a flexible water line hose, and then a reducing union with a compression fitting for the copper tubing on one side. My copper tubing is 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch to 3/8 inch. The 3/8 inch will mount there, and then this elbow mounts to the water inlet valve right there.
So I was able to get the water inlet valve and the flexible hose on Amazon with next day delivery. Still can't figure out how they can do that next day, but the reducing union I was going to take about a week. So I went to Lowe's and got one for $6.99 instead. Now, if you are using a lot of copper piping is 5/8 instead of 1/2. So you might have to use a 5/8 to 3/8 union. So measure your copper piping.
First thing we have to do is turn off the power. Let's go down to the circuit breaker and find the circuit breaker, turn it off. So here's my circuit breaker, and the dishwasher, oops, it's crossed out, 14 lower. 14, it's not a 2. Oh, it says Tesla. Oh, he must have replaced these two circuit breakers, 14 and 16, to put in my Tesla charging. So here's two switches down here that aren't labeled. I bet you this is the dishwasher now. So we'll try turning these off and seeing if that turns off the dishwasher. And if I press the start, it does not come on. So the lights are all out, and definitely turned off, hit the power. So we have to disconnect the water line, which connects to the water inlet valve right here. Let me turn on lights. So this is the water inlet valve here, and the water line, you can see it's dripping here a little bit. We have to disconnect the water line there, and the power is inside this box, which we have to take off and disconnect the power. If we can disconnect, I suspect I've tried to get this water inlet valve and the water line disconnected a few times, and it won't budge. So I think I have to pull the whole dishwasher out. That's why we'd have to take off the power if we have to pull the whole dishwasher out to better access this. It's very tight here, but we'll try it one more time. So let's see if we can loosen this one more time before we try to take it all. I have to take it all apart. It is just not budging. It's really on there tight. So I think we have to cut the line. This is the copper tubing back here. We have to cut that line and feed it through, and then disconnect the wire. Also going to have to disconnect the drain line. All of that is under the sink, so let me show you. So here we are under the sink. We can see the water feed is right here going in there, and the drain hose is here. So we're going to disconnect the drain hose and let this go through as we pull the dishwasher out. And I'm going to cut the copper tubing here and put the union there with a flexible hose for the water feed line.
So you're going to see later that I found a way to replace the water inlet valve without actually pulling out the whole dishwasher. But if you do need to pull out your dishwasher, you do need to disconnect the drain pipe.
So that came off real easily. Just loosen this and we should be able to feed this. Got a little bit of water in there. So get a pan. So I just got a little pan here, let the water drain out of it. Here's a little tip. I put a yoga mat down to help with the knees on the hard floor. So next we're going to take a hacksaw and we're going to cut. I've turned off the water valve. Let's turn off the water valve here. Now, I've noticed that even when I turn this off, the water was dripping. So to be extra safe, it's hooked up, by the way, to the hot water line. To be extra safe, I turned the hot water valve off down the basement. I'll show you that in a minute. But want to be careful. Sometimes these valves may not work properly. So it doesn't hurt to turn off the water valve down. It's usually right above the hot water heater. And so we're going to just hacksaw this right here, and we'll put the flexible tube on there instead. So here's my hot water heater, and the valve is right here. It's currently off, so it goes on, up, that's on, and you turn it off this way. So on that way. Funny story, Toll Brothers hooked up the hot water to the in, hot water out to the in, and they hooked it up backwards, basically. They hooked it up backwards, basically. So when I got a new hot water heater, they came to fix it, and he had to rig this up like this to hook it up properly. So this is the hot water, that's the feed. So this is the feed into the water heater. Cut this pipe. As soon as you get through, it's going to start, water's going to start coming out because there's water coming from a dishwasher. Okay, we got the pipe cut. Again, I'm having to cut this pipe off because I can't disconnect the side, the other end of the pipe that goes into the water inlet valve. So I have to be able to pull the whole dishwasher out to access the water inlet valve and replace it. So we've got the drain pipe disconnected, the water line disconnected. Now we have to disconnect power underneath this box and just double check that the dishwasher does not turn on. That means there's no power running to the dishwasher. So there's a little nut here or screw that we have to disconnect to get access to the power line. So this is a 5/16 ratchet. So here is the little box. There's a little screw here, bolt that we're going to undo. Okay. Pull that off. So with this screw out, we can pull this off and we gain access to the, now again, you must have your power off before proceeding here. So you want to record the wire connections here. We have a ground here. Okay, so ground is green and the copper line. So this is ground. Green is ground. And then we have black. Black on black and white on white. Some of these are a little tight. Just gonna keep twisting. Hopefully they come off eventually. There we go. That was pretty tight. Probably gonna need pliers to undo that. Oh no, don't need pliers. They come off real easy. So these wires are gonna stay here. They're coming from the, these wires come from the dishwasher. The thicker wires are the power line, which we have to remove. These are pretty tight. There we go. So now we should be able to fish the thicker wires through that hole and free up the electrical connection. So I was able to move. This is the power line here. That's the line, so that'll just stay there. This is the wires coming from the dishwasher, which is how you power the dishwasher, and all these will just stay here as we pull the dishwasher away. This is going to stay. This is coming up through the floor, and then we have the copper tubing. We're going to have to push in through the underneath the sink, and that'll come free. Now next, to be able to bring this out, we have to lower with these here. We have to turn these to lower the dishwasher, but before we lower it, we have to unconnect. There are two screws. If you have a wooden top, but this is granite, you would have screws up here somewhere mounted to the top of the dishwasher. With a granite top, you have screws coming into the sides here and here. So we're going to pop these off with a screwdriver. So let's pop these off. They should just come out real easily. And there should be a screw in there that we're going to take out. Another one on this side. And again, don't lose those, but there should be a screw in here that we're going to unscrew. It's probably a wood screw just going into the cabinet to hold it in place. For some darn reason, the person who put this in put in a pretty freaky screw here. It's definitely not a Phillips screw. So I got to find something that can get that out. So the water inlet has two screws here that support it on right here and here. So we're going to take those off. We can ratchet them off here. So I got the screws out, and now we should be able to just pull this down. And it comes off pretty easily. And we are going to have to, there's a metal strap with a clip that that we have to pull off this metal clamp, and it'll allow this black rubber hose to come off. The copper tubing was cut, so that's going to just come out easily. So I secured a string with some duct tape to the end of the pipe so that as I pull that pipe through, I'll be able to have something to pull back the flex hose through that little hole, which is going to be tough to hit. So now comes the tricky part. Got to try to get that silver clamp disconnected. It's right there. Hopefully I can reach in from this side with pliers. I can feel it over here. Let me see if I can show it to you. Okay. So bring the pliers in from this side. I can feel where I have to clamp. There it goes. Yes. Okay. So, got the clamp pushed back, and now I think with some pull pressure, this hose should come off. Yeah, got it. Amen, Allie.
And now you got to put it back.
Oh, yeah. That's not the other. So I used a screwdriver to help pry open pry off the black hose. Now there's a electrical attachment. Probably could have taken that off first. Over here, you just pull down and it should come off. So I had to use two different screwdrivers to sort of pry and twist the connector off. The one side of the connector just wouldn't come off. So I jammed this in there and just twisted it up where it matches the plastic between here and the connector, and it pried it off. So now we should be able to pull this whole thing out. It's not connected to anything. So I should be able to pull this out now. Just keep wiggling it. It should come around this corner here. It's got to go. I'm trying to see if I can see the end of it. But looks like one of the pumps here or motors might be caught on. But at least I can access it here. Wonder if I can get it underneath there. I don't know whether I should try that or not. It seems to be coming a little. I just wiggle it, turn it, and wiggle it. There it goes. So it did go under there. And I've got my rope. Yes, or my string. Okay. So voila. We have the old connection. And this is what was leaking. This is the old, and I couldn't get this nut off. I wonder how hard it is to get this off now. So now we can assemble the new water inlet valve. We need to take the elbow off of the hose we bought, and since this is a threaded connection, we need to use some plumber's tape, thread tape, before we screw it on here. So I put some tape on, So I screwed this in, and we have to make sure it ends up in the right position, similar to how this, so it has to point in the same direction as the plastic hose. So hopefully we can turn it around far enough to reach that. So that's good. And then we're just going to attach one end of our flex hose here. Again, going to put some plumber's tape on that connection. So I tied the string to the end of the new flex hose, and I can pull the string, and this is really going to help me get it in there. Now I think I want to go over this direction and around instead of underneath there. I don't know whether it matters, but I'm going to try to feed it the way the old pipe went. Okay, should be close. I feel lucky. I'm feeling lucky. Actually, before I pull this in, I think I'm going to put the, to give myself more room, I'm going to put the coupling on here first. Then I'll pull that through. So this is the reducing union. This side is going to be my copper tubing, and this will just be able to screw on the other side of the flex hose. So the flex hose side is easy. If we just take this nut off here. So we took this off completely. This part we're just going to throw away completely, and our flex hose will be able to screw right onto there. This side is going to be the side that goes into the copper tubing, so let's disconnect that. So unscrewed it, and this has two pieces in here, so you have to be careful. The first piece is going to be this this thing here that is used when you had if you had some flex hose attached on this side. This keeps the flex hose square. But inside here, then, there is a piece that you have to get out. It's in there, and that's going to go on the copper tube, slide on the copper tube, and then this screwing here makes this little round ring. It's like a ring like this. Give a compression fitting to the copper tube. So let me see if I can get that out. So it doesn't look like it comes out, so I think we're just going to slip this on to the copper tubing. So there we go. I'm going to slip this on. I've got a little bit of an edge on the bottom here when I cut this, so it's not slipping on easily. Okay, there it goes. Then this goes on, and this comes back, and we basically screw this on with 2 wrenches. And as it's tightened, that little ring creates a compression fitting to the copper tube. So we just have to use 2 wrenches here. So I was able to use 2 wrenches, one here like that, and one up here like this, and really tighten this up super tight. And now it's on really good. So let's see if we can get the flex hose to come through. This is going to be a little tricky. Let's see again if we can see it underneath here. It might be caught on something. Okay. Pushing it in on this side, and I see it going up, so it should be right by that hole. I'm going to pull this out. I probably want the string on this side. So I put the string on this side of the pipe or hose, and I also stretch this like this so that it's more square at the end here. It's not curled right at the end. So I just do that a little more. I think it's right there. It is. Yes. I gotta get it just to come through. Damn, it's close. I'll get some pliers, see if I can pull it through. So now we can fish this back in there. First thing we probably need to do is connect this connector here. So that just pushes up on. Yep, just slides right in. And then we're going to push this back. Hopefully our flexible hose will adapt accordingly as I push this back. It looks like it is. The flexible hose seems to be adapting. And this is going to go on here. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to use two hands. Wiggle that on. Let's try it just one more time. Yes. Hose is all the way on. That's good. Now we gotta get this clamp down. We gotta use pliers to squeeze the clamp and then slide it on. So I have to go a little further. Okay. There we go. I think I got it. Yep. Maybe I went a little too far. Okay, there. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so it's all hooked up. Hopefully it's not going to leak. Okay, so we have it all hooked up. And I think what I'm going to do is turn on the hot water and see if we have any leakage. I think we're dry here. We're a little wet from, I think, previously. Let me dry it off. Okay, so we're all dried off. Nice and dry. And I can turn on the water. I'll turn this valve on after I turn the valve on down below. And I think we're all dry over here. Let's just make sure. Yeah, all dry there. Is right here. It's currently off. So it goes on, up, that's on. Okay, keep your fingers crossed that we have no leaks. Let's see if it's dry. But one drop. Oops, another drop. So we do have a little bit of a leak here. And it is leaking, I think, a little bit. So I'll probably have to tighten that up a little bit. This joint here. So far so good. I don't see anything wet at all there. That's great. Let's turn on this knob. I don't think that's really doing anything for some reason. Okay, so we will tighten that up a little bit right there. Turn it a little bit. And this now has to just be mounted with the screws right back here. So pushing it back, lining it up. There we go. That's the spot. And there's the holes. I believe this is a 5/16 ratchet. I have to push it up to get it to start. So what I did is I put the screws in here while it was down and screwed them in a little bit, and it got the screw started. So now let me put this back in and try it. I think that'll help it go. I can sort of see the holes line up. And we'll give it a try. One should hold it probably. That's good. You can see, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that other one in. I don't know if I need both. If I get this in tight, I think it's going to be super secure. Yeah, that thing is in there pretty damn tight. Don't think I can get this other one in. It's all hooked up. Let's just make sure it's not leaking. Yes, it's not leaking. Okay, next we have to get the power hooked back up. So these wires feed through here. Didn't really need to take this off because I was able to figure out how to get this done without taking out the whole unit. So that comes through there. We're going to hook up the wires, white to white, black to black, and this copper wire to green, which is ground. So we've got all the wires connected, white to white, black to black, and the copper to the green. And we're going to put the case back on. You just shove the wires in there. So last we have to hook up the drain pipe back up to where it came off and just screw it tight. So the return drain is reconnected. I turned on the water here, water's on downstairs, no leaking. I'm going to leave the wire on for now, the string on for now. I'm going to leave this plate off at the bottom, and we're going to go turn on the power and see if it works. So back down at my circuit breaker, and we're going to turn on the power. So I'm feeling lucky. Put some dirty dishes in. Let's give it a run. And all we got to do is watch to make sure we don't get any leaks. So I think I hear water running. No leak there. Let's check under where it was leaking. And I gotta get more juice. And we've got water coming into the dishwasher. You can sort of see that there's water in there. And nothing wet down there. And nothing wet in here. Sweet. So that is how you fix a broken water inlet valve that's leaking. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. So I tied the string to the end of the new flex hose. So I tied the string to the end of the new flex hose. So I tied the string to the new.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe on the top left and share the video with your friends. My other Model 3 videos are here in the middle. If you want 1,000 miles of free supercharging, please use my referral code listed on the bottom. My Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts are on the right. And check out my new channel, Pickleball is Life. It's a great game, and subscribe on the bottom left. Take care.